Hi everyone, welcome to this evening's Webb Student Connect. My name is Holly Arnold. I'm the Associate Director of Admission. We'd like to start off with a fun little kind of chat interactions. You're going to hear from all of our students and our faculty and staff shortly of their introductions, but if you want to put into the chat where you're joining us from around the world, maybe some of you are joining from some hometowns where our students here on the call are also from. So feel free to put into the chat where you're joining from. I know a handful of us, we're all joining from the Webb schools here in Claremont, California. Again, my name is Holly Arnold. I've been with Webb for, this is my third academic year. So some could say I'm a junior now. So I not only work in the admission office, I do a lot of the interviews for students, reviewing applications. I also do a lot of our events. So whether it's virtual or in-person events, I put together a lot of those events for us to enjoy, such as the one this evening. So thank you all for joining us here. I'm going to look at this chat here. Thank you. Oh, Lake Tahoe, wonderful. Keep on putting into the chat where you're joining us from, and I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Mrs. Ridley.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emma Ridley. I am Assistant Director of Admission here at Webb. This is my fifth academic year here at Webb. So similar to Holly Arnold, I also do a lot of our interviews, our reading of applications, and then I also am in charge of our Fellow Ambassador program. So our tour guide program, I know we have a lead fellow here with us, Jaden, so you'll be hearing from her shortly. So I do a lot of different things. I also assist Holly with all of our events that go on. So I assist her with all of our in-person as well as virtual events that we host as well. I'm so happy to have you all here with us, excited for what we have ahead to hear from our students. And then I'm going to pass it on to Dean Lance.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Sarah Lance. I've been at Webb probably the longest for anybody on the call. I've been here almost 20 years. So I started off teaching math full-time a long time ago, and I was a dorm head and was dean of students. I started in 2017 as dean. As your dean of students, I oversee a lot of what happens in the student life program at Webb. So everything from working with Dean Tadeo and the residential life program, which you'll hear a little bit about in a minute. I work with Dean Rosenfeld, who's in charge of our campus life program, and that means our weekend programming and our clubs and organizations and our student government. I also work with all of the leadership groups on campus. So that means anything from a peer mentor to a dorm prefect or a day student prefect. I work and oversee with the weekday chapel program with our senior class and our faculty speakers. If that's not enough, I also oversee our discipline program and work with our honor council and the disciplinary process. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you taking some time out. I saw Jaden Akoji, and I met you over the summer at the summer program, so I'm excited to see some familiar names in the chat. If you want to, I would encourage you to turn on your videos because it's fun to see everybody's faces, especially if we might recognize you. So I'm going to ask Dean Tadeo to introduce herself and let you know kind of how she leads the residential program at Webb.
Excellent. Thank you, Dean Lance. So I'm Yesela Tadeo. I am the Dean of Residential Life. This is also my third year at Webb. So I'm also a junior here, so to speak. I live on campus with my husband and my dog, and I serve as a dorm head for one of our boys' dorms. And one of the other roles I hold here on campus that I'm truly passionate about that I just ran over from is I'm the assistant coach for our varsity girls program. So if anybody is interested in playing girls varsity basketball, I'm happy to connect with you, and I'll share my email in the chat. And as the Dean of Residential Life, as Dean Lance mentioned, we work closely together to run that program. I participated in the overall management of the program. I advise our chapel council, which is a group of students that helps select speakers for our a speaker series that happens on Sundays about once a month. I also oversee our community dinner program, which is typically about once a week. We have dinner in our dining hall that is family style. A faculty member would sit at your table, and you'll get to sit with other students from all different grades in our boarding program on a rotation basis. I work closely with our dorm heads and faculty members really to make sure that we're creating a safe and home-like and nurturing environment for our boarding students to help build community, to make sure that we're also
I
helping you.
did your sound go out?
Hello? Can you hear me all?
Yes, we can.
Okay, we're good? All right. So, yeah, just to be sure that we're supporting you as you build some of those life skills that I'm sure you and your parents are hoping that you build through a residential life program. Um, a big part of why I love my role here at Webb is that I get to live the rhythm of boarding alongside our students. You know, we're neighbors. Students see me when I'm walking my dog. We have dinner in the dining hall together, and sometimes we host students in our homes. So I would say that we work closely with our also with our dorm prefects, our leaders in the dorms, to make sure that we are modeling how to live in a community with students from all walks of life, different backgrounds, that we're having fun bonding events such as movie nights, cooking activities, holiday parties. Again, hoping that we're creating an environment that you and your families would create at home. So again, we're happy that you're here and joining us to learn a bit about our program. If you have any questions regarding our residential program, I'll submit my email in the chat. And at this point, I'd like to turn it over to our students.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mikey Pino, and I'm a senior, and I'm a day student from Upland, California. I play football, as you can see. I'm the quarterback, and I'm also a head peer advisor. And I play baseball where I catch. Being involved in sports and student leadership has really shaped my experience at Webb. And one of the things I love most about Webb is the community. For example, on the football team, I feel like we're a really tight, close-knit community. And I feel like that's a big part of why I love Webb. So if you want to shoot me any questions, I'll put my email in the chat. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Marius Zhang. I'm from Nanjing. I'm a sophomore and a boarder. And here's a picture of me in the fall production of Peter Pan. I was Smee. And other than the fall play, I'll try and audition for the spring musical. And right now I manage soccer. And Webb is just this really magical place with a lot of interesting and kind and wonderful people that you'll get to know with, form bonds, and have spend a lot of wonderful time with. And if you have any questions specifically about the theater program, feel free to send them to me. I'll type my email.
Hi, I'm Allison. I'm a sophomore. I'm a boarder, and I'm from Seoul, Korea. I'm also part of theater, and I'm also in the water polo and the swim team. And my photos in like the top right corner. I'm also part of StuGov, so we get to organize like fun events for students, and that was during our Welcome Back dance, which is our like first event of the year, which we get to like get the community together and like we all get to know each other a lot better through this dance. So if you have any questions, I'll also put my email in the chat. So yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jonathan, and I'm a junior here at Webb. I recently became a boarding student, and I'm from Claremont, California. And my photo is under Mikey's photo. And so, I mean, I'm part of the water polo team, the swim team, and the wrestling team. And I'm also part of the honor council. And I think Webb is a very welcoming community. I first started here my sophomore year, but even though I didn't start like as everyone else as a freshman, I still felt like everybody was welcoming me with open arms and very supportive. And if I had any questions, I was always able to have, teachers and faculty and students to help me out. And I feel like in no matter like what activity, no matter what sport or anything that you choose to do, there's always going to be, people supporting and people looking out for you. And so, yeah, I'm happy to help everyone get to know more about Webb.
Hi everybody, my name is Jaden Aleman. I'm a senior here at Webb, and similar to Johnny, I am a transfer student. I always say that transferring to Webb was one of the best decisions I ever made because I just love everything about Webb, from the community to the sports. I actually just came back from soccer practice, which I think shows the really amazing side of Webb is that you can literally come from a sport and then come to another activity here. So some things that I'm involved in at Webb are I'm the head honor council member. I'm also involved in the admissions sort of area on campus. I'm a lead admission fellow, as Miss Ridley said, and I also do a lot of social media in my free time. So I actually have a YouTube channel dedicated to everything web related. So if you want to know more about that, I will also drop my email in the chat, and you can get my YouTube handle if you want to see a more behind the scenes look on web life, from a day in the life to my nightly routine here. So yeah, I'm involved in a lot of different things, like the musical, as Marius said. My picture is right in the center, and it's a really awesome activity here. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Hi everyone. I'm Jeho. I'm currently a sophomore and I'm a boarding student, but I live in LA area, so not too far. I'm involved in student government like Allison as a sophomore class president. And in the spring, I play golf in the varsity boys golf team. But in the fall, if you can see my picture, it's like on the right. I also did cross country. And I think like for me, web is just a place where you can like not only grow your passions that you already are bringing in, but also just like try new things. Because cross country and running is just like something I thought I'd never try, and I ended up loving it. So yeah, I'll also leave my email in the chat.
My name is Kira. I'm a senior here and I'm a boarder in South Hutch. So like JD and Johnny, I joined my sophomore year and Webb has become a second home for me. Um, Outside of school, I am from Boston, but I have lived in multiple different places. At Webb, I'm a head peer advisor like Mikey. I manage wrestling and boys water polo, and I do their social media. And in the spring season, I swim. I'm also a head waiter during community dinners that, like Dean today, are mentioned. And my photo is of me and my parents right before I gave my senior chapel talk back in October. And a little fun fact is I've lived with the same person for 3 years. She just walked into the room. So I'll put my email in the chat as well, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
So, hi guys. My name is Donnie. I'm a junior here at Webb. I joined during my sophomore year as well, similar to Johnny, JD, and Kira. So,
We may have lost Donnie. If we want to, we could wait for him to come back, but we can move on to the next one, maybe.
Hi guys, my name is Triet. I'm a senior boarder from Hanoi, Vietnam. I also joined my sophomore year like Johnny, JD, Kira, and Donnie. This photo of me was during International Week. I am a head international student liaison, and we host international weeks every year, and it's basically a week with a lot of cultural events. We have open mic, food trucks, food making workshops, and also cultural workshops. Here was making Vietnamese coffee. And other than that, at Web, I'm also a part of the theater program. I was featured in the photo with Marius right there. I was also a pirate. I was also in the same musical as Jaden. And for this season, I'm currently managing boy varsity basketball.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Thank you, students, for those introductions. For all of our guests on the call right now, we're going to move into our Q&A. So thank you for submitting some wonderful questions in advance. We'll tackle those advanced questions that were submitted first, And then if we have time, we'll go to a live Q&A as well. So our first question to start off with, let's see, maybe this would be maybe a question for both our deans and a student. How would you describe the Webb community?
Okay, I'll start. How would I describe the Webb community? The Webb community for me is home. So I live right on campus, and I have my family who lives with me. And so I see both teachers and students as my neighbors. And as people who I interact with on a daily basis, from everything in the dining hall and what are you eating for breakfast to you've got a game today, what time is your game? Can I come and watch? This is where we live our lives. So the Webb community to me is home. It's warm, it's friendly, yeah, it's a place that is definitely unique, and that's unique because it's made up of all of the different people who live here.
Do we have a student who'd like to answer that question as well?
I could talk a little bit about that. I think for me, the biggest example that I can give is I can't go more than, I'd say, 10 to 20 feet without saying hi to anyone. Like when I'm walking to class, hi to a student. When I'm walking to another class, hi to a faculty member, hi to my coach. I really can't go anywhere without saying hi. And I feel like that kind of just shows the beauty of our community because we're able to form such tight-knit bonds with one another given that we're in such a small community, and also there's so many people that you can meet from all different places around the world who you might not even know could be your best friend the next day. So I think it's really awesome that our community is really inclusive and able to kind of join in and bring in everybody who comes from different backgrounds and cultures.
Thank you for that. Another question that might be for both our dean and our student. What kind of fun does Webb provide on the weekends?
I can, uh, so, um, I'm a boarder, so I feel like it might be easier for me to speak on what they have on the weekends. There's always trips to Target, grocery stores. There's always like trips to go places like stores where you can get kind of everything. But then occasionally there'll be a trip to the beach if the weather's good. There'll be musicals, um, like shopping malls. Um, and it's like they kind of offer everything. And if there's something coming up that you really want to go to, you can speak to a faculty that's on duty. I think Dean Today or Dean Lance, you can like maybe fact check this, but you can figure out a way to make it happen. And there's so many opportunities on the weekend to go out with friends and eat food and have fun.
Kira just talked about school sponsored trip, and I think for the part where you really want to go somewhere, I think you will talk to the dean of student life, I believe, who is in charge of organizing the weekend trip. Apart from that, you can also organize the trip by yourself with your friends. Um, at Web, we use something called Reach. So in the weekend when you want to leave campus or for Tuesday dinner, we can also leave campus for Tuesday dinner. You create a pass in that app that we call Reach in that system, and you will be providing the school with the information of where you're going, what time you're leaving, what time you're coming back, and what mode of transportation that you are going. So it's pretty flexible. So you have a lot of options that you can choose from. If Web don't offer something that you really want on the weekend, but uh, if you're an underclassman though, the option that you have might be a little bit more limited because underclassmen are not allowed to Uber. So be mindful of that.
Okay, thank you for that. This question, I'd probably ask Dean Tadeo. How many dorm parents or residential faculty members supervise each dorm?
So we have a total of 9 dorm heads because we have 2 dorm heads in one dorm, and we have 8 dorms. And then the faculty members that make up the rest of our program is we have between 40 and 43 total. So that means if you're in a dorm, typically they're supervised in the evenings from 7:30 to 10:30, where you have a faculty member that is on duty that is there to guide you in the evenings to answer any of your questions. They might be helping you with homework and really just checking in on you individually as you are progressing through your evening.
Okay. I have a follow-up for that. What time are check-ins and lights out?
That depends on the grade, but typically everyone, all of our boarding students at 7:30, we have a check-in that our prefects, our dorm prefects help conduct with our on-duty faculty members. And then from 7:30 to about 9 o'clock, most of our students, for 9th grade students, you would typically be in study hall. And then for our 10th through 12th grade students, you might be signing up to go to an academic lab. You might be working on a group project in the library or in our community center. You might be, maybe perhaps you're at a sporting event. And then at 9 o'clock, all of our students are expected to be in their dorms from 9 to 10 for their individual study time. And that's typically when our on-duty faculty members check in with students and they go to door. And then at 10:30, we have another check-in, and that's pretty much when you're expected to be in your dorm the rest of the night. And that's when our lights out happens for our 9th graders. And then it progresses as you get older. So 11th and our 10th and 11th graders have a slightly later lights out. And then our seniors, actually, we don't have a lights out for our seniors because at that point we're expecting them that they have built some skills over their years here and are able to manage their time and get to bed when they need to get to bed.
Thank you for that. So question for a student, what are the requirements and procedures for launching a campus club? Do we have any students on the call that have started a campus club?
I can. Oh, Tria, go ahead.
JD, you can go first.
Okay. So I have 2 clubs on campus actually. So I'm the president of karaoke club and Christian club. So 2 very different things. But so one thing typically that students will begin with is they'll kind of identify some sort of thing that's missing in our community. And one thing I noticed was that there were no karaoke or Christian clubs and just have an idea to start their own. So the process basically entails going to our director of student life. I might be getting Mr. Rosenfeld's title wrong, but he kind of oversees all of our clubs and the whole process. So you fill out a quick form where you will reach out to a faculty advisor and kind of provide a description of the club and what you are looking to do in that club. And you'll go ahead and submit that, and then he will approve it 9 times out of 10. And yeah, if it is a club that requires any sort of budget, you can totally get that organized through Mr. Rosenfeld or our interim Dean of Student Life, Miss Cap. So the process is pretty straightforward. You just have to kind of communicate with people and organize it.
Okay, thank you for that. Are you all set? Okay. Thanks, Triet. Well, Jaden, you'll have to stop by the admission office. Dr. Everett just won a karaoke machine through a Thanksgiving event last week that we had for staff and faculty. So you'll have to come by with the club and get the admission team to join in on the karaoke.
For sure, I definitely will.
This next question for Dean Lance. Is there a specific teaching style that you could describe at Webb?
I would say a lot of our classrooms will tend to have a collaborative aspect to them. I teach mathematics, and so a lot of our math program is taught through problem-based learning. And so that means a lot of group work on working through problems together in class and then finishing those problems and then practicing some skills in the evenings on your own. I would say a lot of our humanities classrooms focus on critical analysis through Harkness discussions. I know someone in the chat mentioned that. And that's really where students have to have an engaged part in the conversation in class. And then our science classrooms will always have a lab kind of connected with the curriculum and the content that they're learning. So students are often like working on lab reports and that kind of thing. And then in world languages, a lot of it is going to be, again, discussion based so that you're practicing the language in your classroom. So I would definitely say it is focused on collaboration.
Excellent. Thank you for that. I know we mentioned in the introductions we had a few students who are involved in our theater. There is a question. Can you talk a little bit about the theater program at Webb and your experience in it?
I can start off. There's always a phrase that we say in like the beginning before we like go on stage, and it's like, there's magic in the theater, and the theater is magic. And I think that that's truly how our theater program is like shaped. Like during our recent production of like Peter Pan, like I got to fly, Marius and Tria got to be like pirates. And truly, there's nothing that you can't do in the theater. This was my first year in the play, so it was really fun for me, and I truly think that our theater community, especially, is so inclusive. No matter like what you're playing, like or who you are, we all get to bond so well, and by the end, like everyone is such close friends with each other, and it's just so much fun, and I'm so glad that people are involved, and I'm involved as well.
Yeah, speaking about like the magic of theater, and at Webb, theater is not like a restriction or anything. It's more like an opportunity. For example, the captain of our football team this year also decided to audition for the play, and he was Captain Hook. So he was supposed to captain on the football field and on stage, and it worked out perfectly. So, and also just like kind of like the schedules of the fall play. We would have like auditions on the first week, the first week of school, and then we have around 2 months to block everything, rehearse, memorize our lines, prepare the show, and then we would run it 3 times. And it's a really magical experience, right, Tria?
Yeah, and in terms of the program, I think that at Webb you can take a few classes that are related to theater, like filmmaking, and like a few other ones too, but they're not on the top of my head. And apart from that, you can also do theater as a part of your afternoon activity. So afternoon activity at Webb going to be fall, winter, and spring season. So in the fall season, it's going to be a play. In the winter, it's going to be the dance show. And in the spring, it's always the musical. So before, like a week or two before the audition, they will announce like, oh, what will the play, what will the musical will be? And then you can decide whether to audition for it or not.
Thank you for that. This question for a student. How much free time do students get in a day? Can you just describe a little bit about your daily schedule?
I think I got that since I lagged out. Okay, so I feel like for me as a student here, a lot of the times that you'll get is as a 10th, 11th, and 12th grader, you'll get one free block. So we run on 7 block rotations and we get one free block. And then during your free block, you can use it to study. You can use it to do exercise. You do it for like relaxing. You can do stuff. If you have a morning block, you can wake up later. And after your afternoon activities, my afternoon activity right now is tennis clinic since I play for the boys tennis team. So I finish at around 5:30. I finish eating food, and then I get my free time from whenever it is in the afternoon, and it's probably usually around 5:30. We can order out some days too, and we usually like eat, and then for dinner, and then we will have some time. Academic lab starts at 7:30, so we usually have time for them too. And we can study by ourselves. We can be in a dorm area. And yeah, until your lights out, I think it's all free time.
Excellent.
In terms of free, oh,
Nope, go
I have
for it.
something to in terms of free time and time management, I think that is going really well at Web. I know that this year freshmen will go to study hall, right? And it will help you get building a habit of managing your time well. And when you're an upperclassman, there will be a lot of flexibility for you to choose your classes. So at that point, you would decide for yourself like, oh, what level of your courses that you might want to take on that will help you to take the courses that you like while you're having enough free time for yourself.
Thank you for that. So our next question, Dean Tadeo, what does the break schedule look like, and is campus still open to students during the break?
Great question. So we have 5 breaks in this during the school year. We have a short break in October, or that's our fall break. Thanksgiving break, we have a week. We have it for a week. Winter break is 2 weeks. In February, we have another short break, about 3 days, and then spring break, we get 2 weeks. During the breaks, we do close campus. Our dorms close typically that Saturday. Before the break by noon. But there is an opportunity for travel during our spring break. We offer school-sponsored trips. Last year, there was a trip to the Galapagos and to Japan. And then this year, we're offering a trip to France. So there are always opportunities to travel, if not on your own, with Webb during those breaks.
Okay. A student question. What has been your favorite activity that you have been a part of at Webb?
I can answer that question. I think one of the activities that one of my favorites is probably the swim team because I've been passionate about like the sport of swimming ever since I started, but I really feel like Web has allowed me to kind of like grow that passion even more. Like it's like the community, Coach Rosenfeld, every single time like I show up for practice, it's like it's some days it's pretty hard, it gets pretty nasty, but when you know that you have people next to you that are doing the same thing as you and you have people supporting you, people rooting for you, and you have your coach supporting you through every step of the way and just growing you through the sport. I feel like it's very encouraging. It doesn't matter if you've done swim in the past or just starting swim, like it's very encouraging just to see like everybody on the team just supporting each other throughout like wherever they are in their swim journey. And I feel like that's like a special moment that I see every time I go to the pool deck. Yeah.
Yeah, I also want to say about like sports, because like I'm gonna just glaze cross country real quick. Like I was never athletic or like I never ran before, but like I don't know, like my brother recommended I should do cross country. I signed up and like it was it's so special to me because not only did I like improve like my physical and mental health, like I think something about Web and just like that team, it just felt like a family. And like I think that also helped a lot. And just yeah, I highly recommend it.
Excellent.
Uh, I could
Lily?
also I could also add in. So my favorite afternoon activity definitely has to be the baseball team. Even though like we didn't have the greatest season last year of all time, our team is really enjoyable and it's fun. Like all of the kids in our team like are friendly and we're all friends with each other outside of the team, and that just makes it like way better as an afternoon activity. Like you can go off campus together during weekends and feel like, oh, these are my friends. I want to hang out with them. And then when you're playing games and stuff together, like you guys can joke around during the games. So that's like also really awesome. And that's why baseball is my favorite afternoon activity.
So I see a question in the chat. So it was how long did it take for students to get used to campus or maybe your schedule or maybe boarding life? What would you say approximately? How long does it take you to really kind of adjust to being a student at Webb?
So I can take the question. So for me, I was a transfer sophomore. So in the first few weeks of school, I was like a little bit like it was surprising for me to like be a boarding student because I was never a boarding student. I feel like for me, it took around like maybe the first month to adjust to the new life. I feel like I have like a lot of control. I feel like I have a lot of freedom, and like it's like a lot of people are like locking in and like really like focusing on academics and also like sports. People manage their time really well, and like I feel like that's one thing that I like about Web as well. And yeah.
Um, I also kind of want to add on. I was an international student, so this is my first time like even living in like the country. So definitely it did take some like getting used to whether that's like the time zone or like the different cultures. But truly at Web there are so many different support systems. You can go to your prefects, you can go to the health center. They have so many good resources. And you can also go to like any of your peers or your faculty. They're always there to support and they're always there if you need any extra assistance.
I think for me, I came from a boarding school. I came from Fay School in Massachusetts. So it was definitely different coming here because there's a lot more relaxation on what a boarding student can do. But for those of you that are going to be boarding, I was terrified to have a roommate because at Fate, like there's always a risk that you're going to get paired up with someone you don't necessarily get along great with. But I 100% recommend that you take the risk of getting a double because when you first move in, it gives you that person, it gives you like someone to talk to, and you never know. I got super lucky. I'm like really close with my roommate right now, and we've lived together for 3 years, like I said in my introduction. And it's just, it gives you another point of contact of someone who's been at Webb. Well, for me, she was a freshman here, so yeah.
Yeah, just kind of adding on to a little bit of what Kira said. I too took the risk my junior year and I decided to room with my best friend. She's also involved in the admissions department here, but it was such a great experience because, just a quick side note, here at Webb, kind of we go based off of a point system. So, depending on how many points you have and whatnot, you can either get placed in a single or a double room. And although I was, one of the top people on my list, my best friend, on the other hand, wasn't. So, I kind of saved her, I like to think. But rooming together just gave us a really great experience. And for me, to answer the question, in all honesty, it did take me a little bit of a while to get adjusted to web life. And I would say anywhere from the first semester. And that was only because I came from a completely different school. I came from a private Christian institution previously, and I'm from Chino Hills, so I don't live too far away. So it was a really big adjustment being away from my family and not being able to see them every day. However, within the first few months, I was already making what I felt like were some of my sisters here. So, like I said, being with a roommate and just getting to meet new people, sometimes it can seem like the adjustment can be a little bit long, but there's always resources to help you along the way.
And for me, um, at the beginning, like the first months and also the first couple of weeks, it can be like overwhelming because you are dealing with a lot of new things, new opportunities, new people, new environment, all that stuff. But please remember that you have all the wonderful resources we mentioned previously, and most importantly, you have like the friends, the wonderful people you're with. I remember like I think it was the third week or fourth week or something, and then I was kind of overwhelmed by stuff. So I decided to go talk to one and two of those people who lived in my dorm. We weren't that familiar yet, but then we had this wonderful talk, and we were living in like single dorms, so we had this kind of sleepover thing, and then we shared a lot, talked a lot, and I felt like that's when I really felt a sense of belonging. So yeah, go take the risk, go for it. It might be challenging, but it'll definitely be great.
Those are all fantastic answers.
And also,
Go ahead. Yeah.
Also, in the first weekend that you are moving into Web, we do something called the orientation weekend, and it should introduce you pretty well to Web. To be more detailed, um, normally the parents will come with the student when they're moving in, right? And there will be student leaders around campus. There will be a lot of us around campus to help you navigate around moving into your dorms. We will host new student white event. Like for example, in the past you were doing the carnival, or we also have like meeting for boarders at night. So there will be a lot of fun in your first few days at Web that will familiarize you with the school and also the friends in your grade.
Then there was a question in the chat of like how does Web pair roommates? And I'm pretty sure it's a form you get if you're whether you're a boarder or not, and it's like, do you want a double or single? What are your living habits? Like what time do you wake up? What time do you usually go to bed? How tidy are you? Very important that you're honest. It is okay if you're not super tidy, but you just want to be honest so then you're paired with the best possible match. But yeah.
That's a great overview, Kira. And I'll add that I work closely with our admission office who have gotten to know you throughout this whole process, beginning now through the spring, as we work to match students that we might feel would be a good fit together. And as always, we take those questionnaires and we really do consider what you write down. And we also encourage you to be open to having a roommate, as Kira mentioned. You never know, you might just end up with someone who ends up being your best friend.
All right, so we want to be mindful of time, so we're going to end with one last question. So if all of our staff, faculty, and students want to join in answering this question, there was a question about dining hall hours. And yes, everyone eats breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the same time throughout the day. And we'll end with what your favorite meal at Webb is. And I will start. I really enjoy the tacos at lunch. Although I have heard great things about the blueberry pancakes at breakfast that I would like to try sometime. So I will hand it over to Miss Ridley. What's your favorite meal?
I like everything. So I get excited every day to look at the menu and see what we're having. We had Greek gyros today, and that is one of my favorite meals. So I was probably one of the first in line today. So yeah, that's something I look forward to. The fun thing about our dining hall is there's many different stations to choose from. So you could go to the salad bar one day. They have a global station during dinner, which is always something different. And they also have a soft serve. Is it yogurt? Soft serve yogurt machine. That's really exciting. You get it with the cone. So that's something that's really great as well. Okay, who's next?
I'll go.
Okay.
My favorite is hands down tater tots in the morning. Very easy.
I'll go with a dessert. My favorite dessert is when we have chocolate chip cookies and ice cream during community dinner.
One of my favorite meals is probably gonna be the nachos. I actually love the nachos here at Web. I mean, yeah, you can't say no to like good seasoned beef and like crunchy like the chips. Oh, so good.
So I'm a foodie, so I'm gonna list out a couple. So my favorite is lomo saltado from the Global Station. Also, birria ramen, amazing. They do such a great job. Tacos, as Miss Arnold said, and also fajitas are amazing here at Webb.
I don't know if this like counts as a meal, but like 9 out of 10 of the time, you'll probably see me with like a bagel in hand and like a tea cup. Like I probably have that like way too many times for my own health. But it is so good. We have a bagel bar and I take too much advantage of it.
I can, so for me, I love the bowl station, especially when they have noodle soups and pho, which I'm pretty sure is at the Pole Station. Yes. Just any sort of like the noodle soups they have, it's always so good.
I can go. I would say like anything that has like chicken in it because I like to get my protein, but I feel like the dining hall food is pretty good. It's pretty consistent, so it doesn't matter like what kind of stuff they serve. They serve like a lot of variety and they mix it up any day of the week, so I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
One thing I like about the Webb dining hall is that there's always food in a dining hall, and there's a great variety of them. For example, for lunch, we have the main line, the bowl station, the grill, the bagel bar. We have salad of the day. Um, what else do you have? We have our patio, and we also have global station. And those are only the options that we have for lunch. So there's definitely a lot of food, and there's a lot of choices that you can choose from. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna quickly name my favorite desserts. I gotta go with blondies and oatmeal raisin cookies. I just love them. They're amazing. Yeah.
So sometimes if I don't have enough time or if I'm just not motivated enough to go to the dining hall, I'll just go to the sandwich bar. There's three type of sandwiches in at the panini
Panini.
panini
Yeah.
grill, and then it switches every week. It's fast, delicious, fresh, healthy. It's pretty nice.
Thank you for that. And again, thank you all for joining us today. Thank you to our deans and to our wonderful students for joining us this evening and giving their time. It sounds like a lot of people came from practices, or maybe they have to go to study hours after this. So we do appreciate everyone joining the call today and for submitting these wonderful questions in advance as well. Thank you to all our attendees. And we hope to see you again at future events. Take care.